Now I might be injured, meaning that I can't take you out training with me. I can't do this or this. I can do a little bit of this and a little bit of this, but I can't train fully. But one thing I can do is try and teach you something. And I say try because it doesn't necessarily always work, but I'm going to attempt it. And that is something that I think especially new runners need to adhere to, but it is valid for every single person, no matter what you do. Swim, bike, run, working out in the gym, you all need to follow this rule, because it's when you don't follow the 10% rule, things can go wrong quick. This is how my head works. Jenga. I'm going to explain it by Jenga. Let's start with this modest base. Let's just assume that we all have an element of base in us, whether we've trained or not. Otherwise, we wouldn't really exist. This is our modest base. This is what happens when you try and do too much too soon, like start from scratch and do a 5K. The fact is, when we're starting new, or if we're already training and we have an existing area, our body takes a while to be able to catch up with what we're doing. So if we're able to slowly increase our training load by about 10% per week, it gives our body proper time to catch up and build a really good solid base. So things like if you ran 3 times 10 kilometers in a week, the next week that's 30 kilometers in total, the next week you might do 33, 3 times 11. You're building it by 10%, and this is where the real fun begins. You can then start playing games with the training. So you can start thinking about intensity sessions with a little bit of interval sets, or you could start thinking about, oh, maybe a tempo set. Now, you might think that's not then base training. Hang on, let me get one of these out that you can see. Thing is, a little bit of base, you're not training, but you're still building. That's the real game, that's the real fun. So if you want to be sensible with your weights, with your distances, then think about using the 10% rule, because it uses a long-term plan that uses consistency at its heart, and it helps you reduce your risk of injury, although sadly doesn't take it completely away, case in point with me. But the more you work on the base, the more you can then put things on top and continue the base, but build from there, 10% each time. If you want to learn a little bit more about the hows and whys of training, then check out the tutorials on the channel.